Do you remember seeing your first perk in Call of Duty Zombies? You probably don't, but what you remember is it being bright, vibrant, colorful, and you just wanted to see what it did. After all, it was a soda machine. Today, I'm going to be wrapping up Call of Duty Zombies perks in a nutshell. Perks were bound to happen in Call of Duty Zombies. With the uproar with multiplayer, many players thought, well, there should be some perks in COD Zombies, and so did the developers. Call of Duty Zombies was extremely hard and difficult. After all, you were only able to get hit twice. Many times with guns, you'd have to reload them for more than 3 seconds, and overall, it had a very boring aspect and left many players with countless points that really they didn't have anything to spend them on. With the introduction of perks in Waw-Vanguard Zombies, players were able to spend their points and actually get benefits from them rather than spinning the mystery box. Like I'm showing right now, Speed Cola was one of them, and it gave the player the ability to reload faster as if you would in multiplayer. There were 4 in total: Juggernog increasing health, Speed Cola increasing reload speed, Double Tap increasing fire rate, and also Quick Revive increasing revive speed. When you look back and look at them, they're really basic but are essential in the long run while playing a match of zombies. This is the introduction of perks in COD Zombies, and we're going to be seeing them in every single game and map henceforward. Of course, just 4 perks is not sustainable. It gets boring, you know, just getting the same perks every single time. So in Black Ops 1, Treyarch added something different. First additional perks to ever be added was PhD Flopper and also Stamina Up Soda. Many people know these perks are, I don't really have to explain them, but this started a trend hence going forward. To keep players on their toes and keep them from being overpowered, they would often add little side modes like the Hellhounds in order to remove perks from the player. We see this specifically in Ascension with the monkeys with the ability to take over perks. But if you're skilled enough and you could manage all of the monkeys without them getting onto a perk, you'd be rewarded with a free random perk. This was the first time ever in COD Zombies which you were allowed to obtain a perkaholic through strategy. I mean, perks were getting better than ever before. We had the addition of PhD Flopper. Like I said, this ability allowed the player to take splash damage without being affected. You were also allowed to dolphin dive and explode everywhere, which was really nice, and also take no fall damage. It was one of those perks everybody got because you could get Mustangs and Sallies and also the ray gun together and just combo it and last until around bajillion if you really wanted to, training on Ascension. And of course, this paired perfectly with Stamina because at the time most players essentially just ran train strats, which with Stamina it made it 7 times more efficient. Zombies was getting easy at this point. Ascension, granted, all the other maps were difficult, but this in particular was the high round map to go for. In a nutshell, it's pretty safe to say that PhD Flopper was extremely overpowered. I think everyone in the community can agree it, rather if you love it or not, and Treyarch did as well, so they removed it. In a nutshell, Black Ops 1 introduced some really unique perks and very iconic ones, and we'll even see these later down the line. I'm not going to be adding Black Ops 2 perks because we don't see any of the perk additions, even the perma perks henceforward, so really it's a waste of time. This may seem hypocritical, but I am going to talk about Widow's Wine in Black Ops 3. Widow's Wine had an impact that no other perk had in Call of Duty Zombies. In a nutshell, this perk was absolutely amazing. This was your ultimate get out of jail free card perk, and you had 4 get out of jail free cards. You can get more Widow's Wine grenades if you had them drop throughout many zombies killed, which was really easy on the high rounds and even some of the lower rounds. Every time you played Black Ops 3, you would be buying Widow's Wine no matter what. Some players would even buy this perk over Jug or even Quick Revive in a solo game, but every time you played a co-op game, every single player would have Widow's Wine grenades as it would be extremely overpowered and could get any player out of any pinch. Now, how does this actually relate to other perks? Although we don't see any new perks in Black Ops 3 Zombies specifically, it really did shape and form many other perks down the line in Black Ops 4 and even Cold War Zombies. It's honestly astonishing how well Widow's Wine was, and also that it really never got nerfed. In Black Ops 3, many people thought it was a staple perk. Many people, like I said, would buy it over Jug. Personally, I just think Treyarch didn't want to mess with the community, especially at its peak at the during of the time, and probably had other ideas for perks but didn't realize how overpowered Widow's Wine was. And another reason why I'm talking about this perk specifically is we see this on every single map in Black Ops 3 and even customs in Zombies Chronicles. Honestly, I believe people who haven't even played Black Ops 3 know exactly what Widow's Wine is because of just how popular it is. But in a nutshell, it is one of the most overpowered perks in Call of Duty Zombies, hence why we haven't seen it in any other Call of Duty Zombies game. Black Ops 4 had many flaws as a whole, but particularly the perk system was a main contributor. Instead, rather than having all perks scattered throughout the map, you had 4 specific ones, with one being a little bit better than the other, which was your modifier. Every time you booted up the same exact map, each perk would have a specific location. Of course, in Ether, we see the brew perk machine in the same spot. This goes for cola, soda, and tonic. The problem with this perk system isn't that you had exactly just 4 perks. It was a matter of the fact that you couldn't change them up throughout the map. You didn't have to worry about buying quick revive. Rather, you just were given a self revive. But unfortunately, you couldn't even change it out for a new perk or something different that would fit the playstyle or the map even better. Another problem in a nutshell in Black Ops 4 was the modifier system. It's not necessarily that you couldn't have 4 modifiers. It's more so that you had a very specific dedicated spot for that exact perk. You couldn't change the spot of the perks, which is really unfortunate because some perk locations were actually really bad and very crammed and cracked, especially on a map like Voyage of Despair where everything is very compact. Black Ops 4 tried to experiment, but unfortunately they didn't have too many good ideas of branching off. They tried, but really failed miserably. As a whole, the Black Ops 4 perk system could have been a little bit better, but more specifically, there was a lot of errors and issues with it that weren't tested and therefore were flawed. But in a nutshell, it could have been fixed with quite a few amount of patches, and really most players would have been happy to drop the whole 4 perk system that was bound to Black Ops 4 specifically. Next, we have Cold War Zombies, and the perk system in Cold War Zombies was actually fairly decent, but very unbalanced. Like I mentioned with Widow Wines earlier, almost all the perks in this game are extremely overpowered, and really you don't even need half of them to be well off to round 100. They twisted it with an RPG aspect where you actually have the ability to upgrade your perks outside of the game, requiring ether crystals rather than points. This was a good idea, but if you could have every single perk in the game, and there's 10 perks in total, really, you're going to be extremely overpowered, and it makes the game not very fun. Granted, you could just say, oh yeah, you don't have to get all the perks, why are you complaining? And while that is a valid argument, I'll admit, but at the same time, it's why wouldn't I get the perks that I upgraded already that I worked for? You know? I like the tier upgrade system. I think it's a really good idea, but in a nutshell, it is very simple, but extremely overpowered, especially with things like tier 3 Pack-a-Punch and Cold War Zombies. Really seeing a 5 perk limit would have been honestly nice to see because it would have made the game a lot harder. Honestly, in this game, it just feels like the perks are circle jerking themselves and you don't really have much to do but buy into it. I think it was a good idea on paper, but Treyarch didn't test this with the perks that they would add therefore in the seasons. Like really, PhD Slider, Mule Kick, all of those are extremely overpowered and I don't know why you wouldn't pick those up. Overall, the Cold War Zombies perk in a nutshell is not complex at all, and really any player could jump into it. Oh god, now we have Vanguard, and while I don't like Vanguard, I think the perk system is a little bit more balanced than Cold War Zombies. I genuinely feel that Vanguard Zombies got the perk system a little bit better than Cold War Zombies. Like really, the ability to upgrade your perks in game with actual points that you have to grind every single time you play, with a low amount of points that are being earned besides objectives, really makes the player grind within the game because they have so much to buy. Granted, it can feel like a little too much if you don't want to play for 2 hours, get everything upgraded, tier 3 Pack-a-Punch, tier 5, this, that, and the other, which is the flaw I see in it, but it really did improve from Cold War Zombies. And you might be wondering why. Cold War Zombies had a unique idea, something that hasn't been done before, but it made the game a little too easy every single time you played it. Playing the game at first on launch, really players struggled because they didn't have any tier upgrades, and even then it only went up to tier 3. Once players became more overpowered, it became a very stale game towards the months after February, because after that, Outbreak really made it overpowered and we didn't have a round-based map, so really you were playing D Machine with overpowered perks. Another good thing about the Vanguard system is that you could get the perks for free. It's the start out. When you die with these perks, they reset a tier, which makes you less overpowered. It properly punishes the player for not doing well, and also it kept players more on their toes and wanted to buy armor even more than they did before. The tier upgrades are a little bit different in this game as well. Rather than just having additional abilities that acted like other perks, it just builds off the base perk itself. In a nutshell, it is extremely easy to understand and comprehend how this perk system actually makes sense in a way. And it hurts me to say that because I genuinely just don't like this game, but the perk system in it isn't half bad. But that is Call of Duty Zombies Perks in a nutshell. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. If I get to 2,000 before June, I will be doing a face reveal, so make sure you do that. Also, check out the links in the description, join the Discord, this, that, and the other. You get the point. But I think that is going to about wrap it up, so I will see you guys next one. I hope you have a wonderful day. See ya!